Hey everyone, Cleo here. Today I'll be giving you my thoughts on the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins. So the full title of the book is The 5-Second Rule, Transform Your Life, Work and Confidence with Everyday Courage. Can't believe I got through that. So as this is a non-fiction book, and especially in the case of this book, I don't believe that there are any spoilers. I will be touching upon different parts of the book, and none of them are really off limits in my opinion. But if you want to get like the full experience without knowing my thoughts on it in advance, then stop right here and first read the book yourself. So I stumbled upon this book at some point when I was watching a couple of TED Talks. So I think I watched about 5 TED Talks, and the 5-second rule was one of them. And I was so motivated after watching that. I was very inspired, and therefore if you want to feel like that, if you sometimes feel that you have difficulty doing certain stuff that you've always been saying, like I need to get back into running, or I need to stop snoozing in the morning, then definitely go and check it out. I will link the video down below. And in my opinion, that's really the best way to go with this book, is just watch the TED Talk. If you feel inspired like I did by the TED Talk, you can consider reading the book. However, I don't necessarily feel that it is so much of an added bonus. So therefore I will be going in depth into the book, and hopefully based on that you can see, is this something that I want to read afterwards, or will I have enough with the TED Talk? So her book is made up out of several parts, I think about 5 parts. And in the first part she explains how the rule works, what it can do for you, but also how she discovered it. So the 5-second rule is very simple. Mel Robbins discovered it while she was having a depression. I don't know whether it was really diagnosed as one or not, but she was feeling down, she was having difficulties getting up in the morning. She knew she needed to because her family was in a bit of a financial crisis, and so her finding a job would really help them out, but she just couldn't get herself out of bed in the morning. And then when she finally got out of bed, she had very little energy to do things. So one morning she decided to change this. So she had watched the launch of, I think, a spaceship the day before, and she decided the next morning to do the same, to launch herself out of bed using a countdown starting from 5. So she would do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and get up. And she found out that that actually worked really well. So she started doing it every day, and then she started using it in other aspects of her life. And in the first part of the book she touches upon this. So how did she get going with the rule, and more explanations about the situation in which they were in. But it starts out mainly with a lot of testimonials. And that is my biggest concern with the book. It has a lot of testimonials. And testimonials are great for a non-fiction book like this, you know. The object, of course, behind the book is to get you going using this rule, and testimonials are a great way to get you to do that, because they show you, look, all of these people used the rule and all of them are super happy that they did. The problem with the testimonials is, one, there are way too many, and secondly, Mel Robbins introduces them every single time. And when she introduces them, she uses actual phrases, actual expressions used in the testimonial. So when you get around to reading the testimonial, you just feel like you're rereading what Mel Robbins has already told you would be reading. So you're kind of reading a paraphrasing of what has just been said. And sometimes this really goes to the extreme. I think there was one case in which I actually thought, okay, in this testimonial there's nothing new, because Mel Robbins has already used everything in the testimonial in her introduction of the testimonial. So you're basically reading these testimonials twice. So that is really my main concern. The testimonial part seems to be taking up about 75% of the book. I don't have any maths on this or statistics, so I cannot be sure, but that's the impression you get. So in that sense, the book seems to be offering little content. So what I've touched upon now, and what is mainly the focus of the book, is the activation part, how to get yourself doing. But you can also use the rule to keep yourself from doing something. If you have a bad habit of eating certain snacks, if you are stuck in a cycle in which you're constantly telling yourself bad things about yourself, you can keep yourself from doing that by using the rule as well. So the moment you feel that urge to eat some unhealthy snacks, you can also say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, no. So the rule I feel is very useful, okay? So I might be talking really badly about the book, but the rule itself is wonderful. So in the second part of the book, which is called The Power of Courage, Mel Robbins mainly goes into the reasons behind our reluctance to get into actions, the reasons why we postpone things, why we hit the snooze button. So the idea behind it is that the moment that your alarm clock, for example, goes off, you're pushed out of that safety of your bed and you have to face the day. And in that moment you're feeling a bit uncomfortable and your body will react to this. It will feel as if it is under threat. And this creates a sort of automatic response to seek out comfort, to escape, to avoid the danger of the outside world. And that is why you hit the snooze button, just to be able to go back to the comfort of your bed. So your body is always looking for the comfortable solution. If you're thinking about setting out on a new venture will create excitement but also anxiety. You will be a bit afraid because you're going out into the unknown, and your body will automatically respond by drawing back, by fleeing. So it's a bit like fight-flight mechanism in that sense. And that is why you keep postponing, you keep telling yourself, tomorrow, I'm not feeling like it today. And that is what Mel Robbins really discusses all of the time. You will never feel like it. You just have to make yourself do it. Because the more you do it, the more you will see that there's nothing to be afraid about. And the less frequently you will go into this flight mechanism, the less you will be seeking out this comfort. But mainly, the more you will be using this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go mechanism, the more easily you will do it. So I've been trying to use the rule, and in the beginning it is difficult, but she also explains this. It is difficult because you're not used to doing it. You're used to staying in your comfort zone. You're not used to pushing yourself except if you feel excitement. And so when you start pushing yourself even though you don't feel like it, at the beginning that is costing so much energy, but after a while it'll get easier. And that is true. So in her book, and this is, I feel, the greatest addition in the book versus the TED Talk, she talks about the wake-up challenge. You take your alarm clock. If it's currently at 6 a.m., you move it to 5:30. If it is currently at 7, you move it to 6:30, 7:30, you move it to 7. So you move it by half an hour. So you wake up half an hour earlier than your alarm clock would usually go off. And the moment it goes off, you say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you get up. And then, also important, is you avoid social media at all costs. Why is this? And I definitely fell into this trap in the beginning, by the way. And so the reason why you need to be avoiding social media is just because it will ruin your motivation, it will ruin your activation spirit, because you will be back into the distracting world of social media. Now, don't think that the moment you will be getting up, you'll be feeling like, whoa, I did it, amazing, I'm so happy with myself. You will be feeling that maybe 5 minutes later, but the first couple of minutes when you're like groggy, half asleep, thinking, why am I getting up? Those are not the most comfortable minutes. So the reason you need to push back your alarm clock by half an hour is just to make you aware of how difficult it is to activate yourself to do it, and then also to show yourself in, like for me, even in a week time, how much easier it is to do it. So I no longer actually need the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I use the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 on days when I'm really like, oh, what's this? But some days I just get up immediately, and this is really not a given. I used to snooze for an hour. So my alarm clock would go off at 6, and at 7 I would get up. So this is the horrible part about setting your alarm clock half an hour earlier. I now wake up at 5:30, which is way too early, but actually I don't mind. I don't necessarily do a lot of super inspiring stuff in the morning. I mainly just watch a bit of YouTube, for example, sometimes, or I read a bit, but it is extending my day by a lot, and it's at least giving me that feeling of, yeah, I'm doing something with my day, and it is just so much better, because I don't know if you've read articles about snoozing, but snoozing is just so bad for you. And I'm just so happy that at least for the moment I'm no longer doing it. So the third part of the book is called Changing Your Behavior. I don't feel like this is an important part of the book. It's just more testimonials and examples of how it can change your behavior. So mainly what she goes into here is how it can change your health by making you go out and start jogging or start going to the gym. I don't know who these people are who are going to the gym at 5:30 in the morning, but good job. I'm not there yet. Then it also talks about how it can do wonders for your productivity, because you start off your day like this, you will also feel more activational energy, which I must say I do find to be true. And thirdly, she also goes into how to end procrastination here, because procrastination is basically you always saying, I'll do it another day, because you're not feeling like it. So using the 5-second rule is made for people with procrastination, I guess. So the fourth part is called Courage Changes Your Mind. So it's mainly focusing on how to stop yourself from worrying, how to deal with anxiety, and how to beat fear. So if you have a certain phobia, you could maybe use this rule to get rid of it by activating yourself to do stuff that otherwise you would be too afraid to do. Anxiety and worrying, so the moment you see yourself going into this spiral of negative thoughts of somebody telling you like, hey, let's do this, and you immediately start to think, oh, but this or that could go wrong. At that point you should just tell yourself 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stop, and break the cycle. And the fifth and final part is called Courage Changes Everything, and goes into how the 5-second rule can change your confidence, how it can help you reach for your passions, how it can help you in your relationships. So if there are certain things that you want to tell people, but that you are kind of like feeling like, oh, I don't know how to say it, or it'll be awkward for me to tell them, you can use the 5-second rule to just come out and say it, and it can vastly improve your relationship as well. Or it can make you step out of a relationship that's really not that good for you. But I feel like parts 3, 4 and 5, they're basically saying the same thing. They're just talking about how to use the rule in different aspects of your life. And spreading them out of different parts does not change the fact that the content is the same. So there just isn't enough content to justify putting it into 3 parts. You know, it could be one part that you split into 3 sub parts, but because she makes it into 3 separate parts, she gives so much attention to these parts, and basically what these parts are testimonials about these different aspects. So in my opinion, it is too drawn out. So I would definitely tell you, use the rule. Watch the TED Talk. If you feel inspired by it, try the Wake Up Challenge. And if you feel yourself struggling with that, then maybe do pick up the book. Maybe it is necessary to see more of these testimonials in order for you to say, yeah, okay, let's just do it. Let's get over the tendency to give in to my feelings, and let's complete the Wake Up Challenge correctly. So you can definitely, according to me, watch the TED Talk, do the Wake Up Challenge and be successful at it. You don't even need to do the Wake Up Challenge. I just, for me, it felt like I needed something to start with, you know. Yeah, sure, I can do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 whenever I want, but in the beginning, when I had just seen the TED Talk, I saw a lot of opportunities for using it. I just always said to myself, yeah, maybe tomorrow. I don't feel like using the 5-second rule today, which is the worst example of what the 5-second rule is trying to combat. But so when I started the Wake Up Challenge, that was a concrete action. So either sit down first and think of yourself which is the one concrete aspect in which I want to start using the 5-second rule, or do the Wake Up Challenge as a way of getting yourself into the 5-second rule. So I definitely feel like it would help me a lot, so you can definitely start with it. Don't think like you need to have this super motivational morning in which you do, you go to the gym, you do this or that, you get 5 things off of your to-do list at once. Maybe that will happen, but don't set out thinking, oh, this rule wants me to do so many stuff in the mornings because it will keep you from doing that. What I'm doing at the moment is just doing almost nothing in the morning, just waking up early and then watching you. So you can just go the route that I'm going at the moment and just waking up early and then just seeing, okay, so I have so much time left before work, maybe I'll read a bit, maybe I'll do this or that. I'm just basically using the time purely for relaxation. But so that's about it, about my thoughts about this book. So definitely leave your comments down below if you've read the book. Maybe you absolutely adored the fact that there were so many testimonials in it, and that's definitely an opinion that also needs to be out there then. If you have struggled with procrastination, if you're snoozing all of the time, you're definitely free to comment down below. I guess, I'm sure we can all relate, most of us have been there. So after watching the TED Talk and while reading the book, I really felt like taking action, and the way I did that was by starting this YouTube channel. So I shot all of the videos that same weekend, I edited them like the Monday after, and then I kind of had to think about this timeline with my US trip, but at some point I said, okay, I will put it up now. But the moment I had to push publish was so scary and really difficult for me to just motivate myself. And so at that point I should have definitely used the 5-second rule to get myself to do it. But another thing you can do, which she also touches upon at some points in one of the testimonials, is if you are feeling afraid to take a certain step, ask somebody, should I do it? And most likely they will tell you yes. They might tell you do some research first, do this or this or that, but you know, choose your person wisely. You know your friends, you know who's going to be the person who will get you going, who will make you do it. And so I texted a certain friend of mine and asked her, what do you think about me starting a YouTube channel? And she said, she gave me first a bit of like, okay, do know that it's a lot of hard work, but she also pushed me to just push the publish button, and that's why you are all now and that's why at this moment nobody is watching my YouTube channel, but hopefully somewhere down the line people will be watching it. So thank you to my friend for that. So yeah, if you need this, if you need a push, comment down below, and then somebody else or me, we will just tell you how it is and hopefully get you motivated, get you past the fear and make you do it. Okay, so that's it for me for this week. I hope you all have a nice day. Bye!